with me today. I think you provide the best of both worlds because people are looking for an outsider. They don't want somebody who's a career politician. You've got the experience, but from a good place, from being a justice. You're not a career politician.
I'm not. I'm a judge. And that's why I want to go to Washington and lay down the law.
Well, thanks, Joe.
Guys, take care.
Yeah, thank you, Joe. Take care.
Well, Bob, I have a couple questions. This is Ed, and I have a couple questions. And one of them is I heard Dr. Larry Arnn speaking last week, and he was talking about a Supreme Court justice that he knew. I suspect it's, oh, my goodness.
Clarence?
Thank you.
Okay.
Brain fart real quick there. And he was saying that
or Scalia, both were very supportive of Hillsdale.
Yes. And I know he knows Justice Clarence. And he was saying that why would a justice want to retire? He has, if he loves the law, and you love the law, and it's a position of influence to do the right thing. So I got to ask, did you retire with this run in mind?
I actually didn't. What prompted me to decide to retire was that when I had spent 18 years, I thought that in that 18 years we had established the Michigan Supreme Court as being that unique senior court that actually followed the law. It was a rule of law court. It's the kind of court that Ronald Reagan wanted to have, but was never able to create. And it's one that we're hopeful President Trump will have an opportunity to create a real rule of law majority court in our federal Supreme Court. So that was one. I thought I had achieved some stability in establishing the Supreme Court as a rule of law court. Second, the most fulfilling thing besides protecting our Constitution and liberties I did on the court was those 6 years that I spent as chief reforming the judiciary. Our tradition on the court is that the chiefs are selected by the members of the court for two-year terms. I was given the honor by my colleagues of an additional term to make sure the reforms I had started were embedded and permanent. And so at the end of 6 years, I decided it's probably time for me to go out and do something different.
Go out on a high point.
Pardon me?
Go out on a high point.
Yeah.
I had achieved all of my objectives, and I thought, well, it's time for somebody else to pick up the gavel, so to speak, and keep moving forward. And I had no idea. I mean, people. As soon as I told people I was leaving, they started whispering in my ear, and I kind of laughed. I said, "I'm not a politician. I'm a judge. I've run for elective office, but to promote the rule of law. That's something very different." And I didn't see myself in this way. But people kept talking to me, and finally I realized I was just so pissed at the direction of our country, so upset that Debbie Stabenow is the senior member from Michigan in the Senate, and no one, not even her friends, believes that she's a leader.
Yeah.
What a thinker.
I just think we ought to do better.
Yeah.
We deserve better.
We do. We absolutely do. So on the phone with us, we've got former Chief Justice Bob Young, who is now running for Michigan's U.S. Senate seat. Bob, you there?
I am.
Okay,
let me address the question about Obamacare. I think this is a classic example how liberals like Debbie Stabenow bribe constituencies by throwing money at them.
Mm-hmm.
I think this was a scheme, a step that the Dems, with people just like Debbie Stabenow, trying to make the final step toward single-payer health care so that we have the VA for all of us. Imagine that.
Yes.
So they couldn't quite get there this time. So what they did is they took 1/6 of our economy, they broke the system of insurance that 80% of us were covered under employer health care, and lied to us all along the way about what Obamacare was going to do. They were just lies.
You mean I couldn't keep my doctor?
Pardon me? Oh, yeah, you can keep your doctor. The costs are going to go down. Well, it's a fraud. It's an absolute fraud, and Debbie Stabenow ought to have the courage and honesty to acknowledge they lied to us. Now, you asked me, well, what is my position? My position is that any health care, this is not health care, by the way. This is how we pay for health care. This is about insurance. Mm-hmm. Any insurance plan, these are my principles, ought to reflect a market-based approach. And it ought to encourage people to actually take care of their health. There are things that we should be encouraging, like at least having an annual physical. You've got diabetes, getting A1C tests, those sorts of. That's actually medical. Paying for it is a different matter. I would like to see people be able to use some of their taxpayer dollars for medical accounts, so that most of us who have health insurance never ask the doctor what anything costs. I mean, I'd like to have people be conscious of the medical purchase, and anything that remote calculation is likely to increase the cost. So I'm thinking in terms of principle and things that promote those free market principles. For why aren't insurance companies allowed to compete across state lines? That's crazy. Competition reduces, monopolies increase. We all know this stuff, but Obamacare was never really intended to address the real issues of providing insurance policies for those that didn't have them. We could have provided everybody who was eligible for, who wanted a policy of insurance, to have one for years for a fraction of what Obamacare did. But that wasn't the goal, really, to insure the poor uninsured. That was the lie, the cover that the Dems offered for. We need to take Debbie Stabenow's credit card away from her and send her home.
Yep. Yes, absolutely. Well, Bob, I appreciate you calling into the show today, and I'm giving you the open invitation, and Ed and I would love, if you ever have the ability, to come in and sit for the hour with us and discuss, because senatorial position, we talk national politics every Saturday. We would love to have you come in or call in, whatever's convenient for you. Any Saturday, you have an open invitation here at the Drift to come in and speak your piece.
You'll see me again.
Great. Thank you so much, Bob.
Have a great day. Have a great...
Yes, and we're proud for you, and we're pulling for you.
God bless you, sir.
Thank you so much. God bless you. God bless all of us.
Great. Thank you. Take care.
Yeah,
bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
WAAM Ann Arbor. Our First Amendment at work. Real public radio. Unbiased, open, and honest discussion. 24 hours a day. WAAM Radio. WAAM. Talk 1600.
Christmas is coming, and the Mule Skinner Boot Shop in beautiful downtown Chelsea is ready. Ready with handmade Lucchese boots and handcrafted boots from Tony Lama, Nocona, Justin, and fashion boots from Corral. The Mule Skinner has the finest in women's and kids' boots, too. Also tough work boots from H&H. They're ready to work when you are. This year, the Mule Skinner is ready for Christmas with the finest in Western hats from Resistol and Stetson. Traditional style in several colors with your own personal crease. And remember, the Mule Skinner has all your concealment requirements, model-specific, custom holsters, and all handmade by the Mule himself. Custom orders are also available. So treat all your elves with a traditional Western Christmas from the Mule Skinner Boot Shop. A Western Christmas that everyone on your list will remember. Oh, and don't forget old Santa. He might need a new pair of boots, too. That's the Mule Skinner Boot Shop in beautiful downtown Chelsea, 112 North Main, right next door to Wine's Own Main. Have yourself a merry little Christmas, Mule Skinner style.
People are always on the go, driving to work, running errands. How do they keep informed? They listen to WAAM Talk 1600 just like you. If you're a business owner, your message can reach these people wherever their travels take them. People tune to WAAM Radio for the latest issues, discussed by hosts like Joe Pags, Fayron X, and Dana Lesh. And they'll stay tuned for your message as well. Call 734-971-1600 today and advertise your business with WAAM Radio and whamradio.com. whamradio.com. WAAM Talk 1600. You're catching the drift. Conservative talk. Intelligent conversations on local, state, and national issues with Gary Wellings, chief editor of the Current newspaper and Current Online. Join in the conversation at 734-822-1600. And now, your host, Gary Wellings.
Good afternoon. Good Saturday afternoon. Welcome to The Drift. Gary is off on assignment right now. That's my story. I'm sticking with it. And, of course, this is Ed Bonderenka, his co-host, sitting in. And today I have the lovely Linda Hughes sitting in with me, co-hosting.
Wow.
Yeah, welcome,
2
Linda.
hours in a row. Can people take it?
There you go, yeah.
No.
Now we'll just get you on Rick's next, and
I'll just
do the whole
just
slew.
all me all day long.
And then Ed Hoffman.
Oh, yeah. That'd be great.
Can't go back in time and get you on Trigger Talk. I encourage you to go to the Daily Drift for
the news you need to know.
So, let's start out first. I want to talk to you about an advertiser in the Current. And the Current is also a place you need to go for the news you need to know, because I caught Linda drinking water.
I had a Marco Rubio minute. Sorry about that.
There you go.
Go to the Current for the news you need to know.
Thank you. So, for your real estate needs, you need to talk to Marilyn Handloser Engstrom from RE/MAX. Marilyn's been advertising in the Current for a while, and she's pretty successful as a real estate agent. If you look her up in the... I was told by a friend of mine, who's actually my son, who's a real estate agent. He checked her out and saw her stats, and she's very successful.
Very good.
So you can contact Marilyn at 248-231-4216 or MarilynH@remax.net or www.marilynhandloser.com. That's MarilynHandloser. And contact Marilyn for your real estate needs. So, let's move on with the rest of the show.
I bet you didn't know I was a realtor.
Are you a realtor?
Not anymore.
Were you a realtor?
Shortest job ever.
Wait a minute.
I know.
We're getting ahead of ourselves.
I know. We're getting ahead of ourselves.
I asked the lovely Linda to come in today so I might actually interview her, as you heard previously on her show, because I'm sure you listen to her show also. And so, So Linda,
yes,
what was it like as a child growing up in the 90s?
Oh, bless your heart. That's hilarious. I was born in 1963.
We weren't going to go there.
Yes. Oh, we can go there. I'm 54 years old. I will be 54 on December 16th.
Excellent. December 16th. I'll have to remember that day.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. Okay. And that's all gifts may go to Linda at WAAM.
Right.
Text your gifts to
Linda at WAAM Radio.
Yeah. Email them also.
Yeah.
Works better that way.
54 years old.
All right. So having said that, what kind of education did you have growing up?
Didn't you hear the last show?
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
I was prepping for my show.
Oh, I'm so sorry. No, we just talked about how bad education was in those years. Theron loves to say that, and it's true. You didn't learn anything. History.
Okay.
You know, that's why I love history now, because I had none of it other than the memorization. I was a good student. You memorized dates.
So I take it you went to a public school, obviously.
Saline.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Which has a great reputation.
Really? Yeah.
I mean, you know, you learned stuff. It was a great. I would say that's not of the public school problem that we have today. I would happily send a kid to Saline Public Schools. But my education came mainly from work. I worked a lot. I always wanted to work. I worked as a kid, babysat my sisters and I all did a lot of babysitting. Always had that entrepreneurial, let's start. I mean, I remember with my cousins even let's start a business. We'd be on Thanksgiving break or Christmas break. Let's start a business. They thought I was nuts. I remember at one point, I don't know if we tried to sell this or what we were doing, but we were putting egg salad in jars. I have no idea what we did with it, but I was always thinking, like, how can we get some money so we can do some stuff. It was always about independence. It wasn't about money as much as it was, you know, we need to be.
I was thinking of the Judy Garland, Mickey Rooney. Hey, let's put on a show. But no, what you say, let's start a company.
Let's do some kind of business here.
Let's do business.
Yeah.
My son was actually like that, too. It was like anything for a buck.